Good morning to you. Hi, Will. Hi, Pete. How are you both doing?
Morning, good
Morning.
afternoon.
Maybe I know both of you since quite some time now, but maybe it's good if you shortly explain who you are and for which organization you are working. Will?
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Will Butler. I'm a senior business development manager at the Detroit Regional Partnership. Detroit Regional Partnership, we're the regional economic development agency for Metro Detroit, for the Detroit region. Job is to help companies that are looking at exploring this market and setting up new locations and facilities in the Detroit region.
Okay.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Piet Morris. I'm the Trade and Investment Commissioner for Flanders Investment and Trade Office based in Chicago. I'm one of the 6 offices that FIT has in the US. I'm responsible for the Midwest. And our 2 missions are on one side helping Belgian Flemish companies, mainly small and medium companies, in doing business in that part of the world and in the US for us. And on the other side is trying to convince foreign company to come to invest in Flanders.
Can you explain your organization? What is the link with automotive, and how do you see your activity towards automotive?
Yeah, for sure. So, as I kind of mentioned, right, so we are the designated regional economic development agency. Essentially, we try to serve as much as possible as a one-stop shop, right, to handhold companies as they're coming to the U.S., looking at setting up an initial office or some sort of facility in Metro Detroit. We work in a variety of different clusters and industries, not just automotive, but I think people that know Detroit know it as the Motor City, right? It is our foundational industry. It's our heritage. So I would say it's about 75% of the work and the projects that we have is related to the automotive industry.
For us, often Detroit is very strictly linked to the big 3, Ford, GM, and FCA. But I believe there's much more. Will, can you explain a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're known for the big 3, and it's we love the big 3, but I do think that is one of the misunderstandings or misperceptions we often have to talk about. People don't realize the breadth and density of the automotive industry that exists here. There are actually 21 OEMs with either a headquarters, a global headquarters, North American headquarters, or technical center in the Detroit region. That's the greatest global presence of OEMs in the world, actually. So, and on top of that, 96 of the top 100 suppliers to North America. So, if you're looking to get into the North American automotive industry and break into that market, there's not going to be a better place where you'll have proximity to engineering and leadership at some of the largest OEMs and tier 1s in the world. This is really the entry point for the North American industry. But I would completely agree with Pete that it is not easy to get into these companies, and it takes investing in a long-term relationship and really building over years. So I'd completely agree with you, Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also that sometimes our company, they say, well, I'm going to send you some information, just pass it through and things like that. It doesn't work that way. So you have to come, you have to show your face, you have to speak with the people, and you have to convince them that you have a product which is completely new for them. They are not waiting that something comes. You need to come to present, to show, and to sell it.
And that is something what I hear quite often is you need to be where the decision making is happening. And I think that is something which, with all the headquarters that you mentioned, it means that there's really decision-making power. So not only the R&D engineers, but also the managers and the CXOs, they are in your area.
The example I often throw out is Toyota, right? They did a big North American reshuffle of sort of their presence. And across that, right, they moved from California to Texas and a few other kind of centers shifted. But what stayed is in the Detroit region in Michigan, all of their engineering, R&D, and most importantly, purchasing stayed in the Detroit region. And it's exactly that. So if you want to be selling and in front of leaders, I think not only do you have to start or have some sort of presence in the Detroit region? But kind of to go along with what Pete was saying, localization is just critical. You can only do this so much flying in and out, right? If you don't have sort of a boots on the ground presence every day, it's going to be really difficult to gain traction. And I think that's a chorus we're having to continually say to companies who are looking at starting in this market.
Yeah. And this localization, how do you do that right? What are the critical points for success?
I would say, one of the things that we constantly preach is, there's a support network out there to do this, right? Don't go it alone, right? Rely on support and rely on experts. And that starts with organizations like the Detroit Regional Partnership, like Flanders Investment and Trade, right? Reach out to Pete, reach out to myself. We're free resources to start this discussion and to get expertise. So don't go it alone. Start with that support network. And then, you're going to have to bring on service providers to really set you up correctly. And I think a lot of that upfront homework and relying on experts and the support network is what leads some companies to success and others to maybe struggle. I'd also say, Pete, I don't know your thoughts on this, but I think the first hire is crucial. Making that first person who's representing your brand in a new country, a new market, that is the most crucial hire you'll ever make. There is right now a decrease in just pure demand for new vehicles. So it's difficult to see opportunity. But what we're hearing from a lot of our large corporates here in Detroit is they're going to be looking to duplicate supply chains across all markets, right? Because they don't want a crisis. When China shut down, it shut down crucial parts of their supply chain. And what we're hearing is they now want a fully North American market supply chain they can rely on for North America and then duplicate that across the globe. So I think companies that have relationships with large corporates, OEMs, tier ones, and then they're going to need to duplicate that now across multiple markets. So I think that is going to be one effect out of COVID-19 as we emerge. There's going to be increased demand for presence across the globe.
Oh, wow, that's different than what we hear here in Europe. 2 weeks ago, I was in an online conference, and there was somebody speaking from the purchasing department of Jaguar Land Rover, working in Slovakia. And the question was, do you think that now with COVID-19, there will be an increased local sourcing? And the person said, I don't believe that, because that would require us to set up double tooling, double quality checks, double validation, and the cost would be that much higher that we will stick probably to a single supplier that we have already. So, but maybe the Americans think differently. Yeah? But I think here in Europe, we will not really see this localization effect out of COVID-19.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and then the final question, our mission, December, what do you think? What will happen?
We want to have a mission in person and bring everyone to Detroit and build, those partnerships and economic bridges. But, no matter what, if we have to do it virtually, we'll find a way to do it. We're committed to holding in some way, shape, or form this kind of mission.